What's going on, fam? I'm Zachak here, and this is the iPhone 10. 2 months later. It's pronounced 10, not X. Now, changes were definitely made, but change isn't always a bad thing. Now, Apple's norm to a typical iPhone is a screen with a home button on the bottom. And they decided to take a new direction with the 10. Now, right out of the box is your usual packaging. It's the phone, warranty and instructions, lightning cable, headphones, and a power adapter. It comes in 2 different colors, space gray and silver. Now, Apple has given us an edge-to-edge 5.8-inch display. Now, on paper, the screen size is actually larger than the phone body itself. That doesn't really make any sense. But companies like to measure their screen diagonally to make their product sound a little more impressive. And 5.8-inch screens have been around for quite some time now, and this is pretty impressive for Apple. The 10 features a full glass body, making it a complete fingerprint magnet. Now, it's not Gorilla Glass, but Apple claims that the 10 to be their strongest and most durable phone yet. I completely disagree with that, man. Come on, you make a phone that's completely glass, trap it once, what do you think is going to happen? The iPhone 10 is bordered by a stainless steel band, which joins the front and back glass together. The bottom of the phone features your traditional lightning connector. The grill to the left is a microphone, the grill to the right is also a microphone, and a built-in stereo speaker. The same goes for the top, a built-in speaker with a microphone on the notch. Yes, the good old notch, the good old mainstream notch that everyone has been complaining about before the iPhone 10 came out. Well, I have 3 words to say about the notch. It's not that bad. Isn't that 4 words? Now, on this space gray model, I actually like to call this notch a bow tie. It kind of makes it look like a full-on black tuxedo. Now, one of the main things in the notch is actually Face ID. And it's pretty accurate. To set it up, you have to go through this neck-ripping exercise. And you gotta do it about 2 times. Now, I was actually very skeptical on the success rate of unlocking the phone without using Touch ID at all. As a matter of fact, I was also uncomfortable with the idea of just using facial recognition. But when you actually start using Face ID, it just becomes so cool, man. Sometimes I realize that when I'm actually sitting down, like in a train, the phone would think I'm actually tilting it up. This would turn on the screen and it gets pretty annoying. But you can always turn off the raise to wake feature in the settings app. Now, Face ID is actually possible by the infrared camera and the sensor in the notch. Now, the infrared camera captures and projects these infrared dots onto your face. It basically makes a mask of your face with dots. That mask is then stored into memory, allowing it to unlock your phone every time you go use it. Now, Face ID works well, but not every time. I had instances where I was in bed and I had to try more than once just to unlock my phone. Sometimes it wouldn't just work at all. I would just go straight to the passcode to unlock my phone. But the real question is, can Face ID work with a face mask on? Alright, let's do this. That did not work. Let's try one more time. Still didn't work. One more time? Yep, it didn't work. I'm actually tempted to do the rest of the video with this mask on. Well, I don't really blame Apple for not recognizing my face. When you have a face mask on, you don't really look like yourself. Face ID is for your natural face and your natural face only. I want to say 95% of the times it works well. You can also make purchases with Face ID on the App Store. But I think the coolest thing about Face ID are Emojis. Now, Emojis are these cute animal emojis. You can send this to an Android user if you feel like, showing off. Apple has also given us a preset of Emojis to choose from. These things are cool, it's pretty fun, and you can get very creative with this. With the removal of the home button, the 10 became a fully touchscreen phone. The home button is basically replaced by touch gestures only. Now, instead of pressing a button, you can simply swipe up from the bottom to go home. And trust me, it's much easier this way. To multitask, you swipe up from the bottom again and hold. And then you select the app you want to switch to. The delay can get a little annoying while holding your finger on the screen, but a trick around this is to swipe up and curve your thumb towards the right. Another way to multitask is to swipe right from the bottom of the screen. Apple has finally created an OLED display with a resolution of 2436 by 1125 with an impressive 458 ppi. With the pixel now emitting its own light, black levels are much more deeper and colors are much more vivid. The quality of the videos on the 10 are nice to look at as well, but the phone can heat up pretty quickly. I've gone through about only 5 minutes of just video streaming time and the phone started to heat up to its core. You don't really get the full display experience while watching a video. The phone crops it down for a more comfortable view, but you still have that option. For example, in YouTube, all you have to do is pinch out on the video and it uses your whole display. This comes with a downside though. The notch does get in the way, making it a little unusual to watch. But it's funny that the more videos you watch on your phone, you kind of just get used to the notch. It doesn't really become a nuisance anymore. Apple actually teaches us not to hate the notch, but to embrace it. After using it for such a long time, like I said, I just don't notice it anymore. Before this phone came out, everyone was making it a big deal, and I can understand why. But using this phone in the flesh totally changes your perspective. Now the iPhone X has a rear 12 megapixel dual lens camera. The top being a wide angle lens and the bottom being a telephoto lens. The apertures are from 1.8 to 2.4 and both support optical image stabilization. To get to the point, pictures really do look good on this phone. Especially with the new OLED display, it makes the colors pop out more. I am very impressed at what Apple did with their high dynamic range. With the improvement of HDR, the sky is much more detailed as well. The telephoto lens does a good job with keeping the colors in the right balance, especially in low light. As you can see, you can differentiate the clouds from the sky from the deep colors. 4K and 60 frames look smoother and sharper than ever, especially with a lot of color noise in the background. But sometimes the exposure can be a little too much. I just wish you didn't have to go to the settings app to switch to 4K mode. Apple should allow you to switch modes within the camera app itself. The OIS in both lenses makes your video look nice and balanced. I took this video when I was walking, and as you can see, it doesn't really look so jumpy. You can also record 1080p videos in 120 frames or 240 frames, and it looks greater than ever. The movements are nice and smooth, the picture is nice and balanced, and the colors are intact. The front features a 7 megapixel camera, and it does a good job with the quality, but an okay job with portrait mode. Now you can access portrait mode in both rear and front. I've noticed that the edges get super blurred out in the front facing camera, and especially around the ears. Sometimes in portrait mode, the camera does not know what to blur out and what to focus. As you can see in this picture, one side is blurred out and the other isn't. I guess it can have a hard time to maintain its focus sometimes. Maybe because if there's a lot of subjects going on in the background, it can confuse itself. I guess my only favorite part about the front-facing camera is the video quality, and I think it's one of the best I've seen in the market. And also in portrait mode, you have a set of filters to choose from, both back and front cameras. And I must say that stage light mono, nah man. Battery life is great but not fantastic. I got up to about 5 hours of on-screen time. If I have days where I'm super busy at work and I barely have time to be on my phone, I'd come home with about 80% just left. That's not a joke at all. Apple's a boss when it comes to standby time. Apple's latest and greatest processor is the A11 Bionic chip. It's included in the 8, 8 Plus, and the 10 itself. It's a 6-core processor. Basically, 2 is for heavy use, and the other 4 is for your light to medium use. But when your usage is over 9,000, all 6 cores work simultaneously to give you a smooth experience. Gaming was great. I had no lag while I was playing Asphalt 8, even when there was a lot of things going on the screen. Speakers are moderate and not too loud. Well, you know what you got yourself into researching about the 10. It has a great display, sharp camera, durable battery life. That's all you need in a phone these days. But is Face ID 100% accurate? No. Does it have a home button? No. A headphone jack? No. A low price point? Absolutely not. And is Apple's portrait mode #1 in the market? I don't think so. But these are things we were already expecting. Like I said, change isn't always a bad thing. And Apple had made this their best yet. I'm a full-blown day one Android user. And I gotta say that I'm definitely not disappointed with the iPhone X. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and finesse on that subscribe button. Now some of you may be wondering, but Shakib, you only have one video out, why should I subscribe to your channel? Well, Did LeBron ever give up on you in Game 7? He has 3 rings now. Alright, fun fact number 1. An apple in the morning will keep you more awake than a cup of coffee. Thanks for watching. I'm Zachak. Stay tech strong. Deuces.